with your main Chip Washington. When it comes to information, the main got an arsenal. Bring you up to speed with what you need. He's the local and nationwide news feed. Let's talk about it. Dialect to do something about it. Chip got the flow wide open if you got questions about it. Man, it's the show that brings you to your raw. To solve all problems, it starts with real talk. Real talk. It's 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 real talk. Yeah. Welcome to Real Talk with your host, Chip Washington. It's real talk. It's real talk. It's real talk.
Monday evening, I hope you can hear me because I'm hearing like...
There we go.
Okay. Well, here we go. On this Monday evening, Chip here. Glad to be with you. We're sounding hollow tonight for some particular reason, but hopefully we will get that straightened out. Your humble host here, Chip Washington, on this Monday evening. It is the 17th day of July, 2023. We're sounding really hollow, Lola, on the mics here. But anyway, I think you can hear me. I hope you can. If it sounds tinny, you all send me a note on Facebook Live. Glad to have you with us. 6 o'clock straight up. Yes, very tinny. 6 o'clock straight up on this Monday evening. And of course, we have a good show for you in store for you tonight, as we always do. First and foremost, very glad to have you with us this evening. I'm glad to be here. Hope you're glad to be here as well. And for the next hour or so, we are going to give you some information, some news that you can use. Wait a minute, hold on. Let me see it. Testing. This is the one. This is the one. Okay, we got all these mics going on over here, and we need to try to figure out what the logistics are. But in any event, I think you can hear me now. Test 1, test 2. We do have a good show for you tonight. We're going to talk about a variety of subjects, as we always do. And, of course, how do you get us? How do you find us? How do you hear this fine piece of radio broadcasting right now live on 91.7 WYXR? On the FM side. Of course, we are always on the WYXR app. You can find us. You can find us on the TuneIn app. We are on Facebook Live. And when the show posts tomorrow afternoon, you can find us on YouTube. And as we are a podcast, you can find us wherever it is you get your podcast. So as I said before, it's another Manic Monday in the city. We had a nice weekend weather-wise. It was beautiful. The heat pump is about to resume its motion. The next few days, we're going to see temperatures in the mid to upper 90s, heat indices about 105 to 110. So, the hot weather rules apply because it is still a summertime in the city. So as I stated earlier, we're going to be talking to a number of folks. The first guest that we're going to have in just a few minutes, her name is Shanika Walls, and Shanika is a life coach. And for those of you who don't know what a life coach is, well, she is a certified life coach and instructor. She will tell you all about it and why it's good for you and why it's good for people you may know who are dealing with a few things and how to sort of balance your life out. So I look forward to that conversation. A little bit later on, we're going to be speaking with U.S. Marshal Tryeece Miller. He is the U.S. Marshal for the Western District of Tennessee. And, of course, recently they were in town to talk about a furthering of the partnership with our local law enforcement. They met with Mayor Strickland and Chief Davis and Sheriff Bonner to talk about the escalation in crime and what they are going to do to try to help calm things down, as it were. And a bit later on in the show, of course, each and every year, the Orpheum Theater, which is known for bringing some of the finest plays to our city, is going to start their new season. And we are going to be speaking with Brett Batterson. Brett is the president and CEO of the Orpheum Theater Group. And he's going to lay out what you can expect this season in terms of some great plays, and also talk about this new Walk of Fame that they have incorporated in front of the Halloran Center. So that ought to be rather interesting as well. Glad you're along with us for the ride. I hope you stick with us for the hour. And before we move on, of course, this is the time of the broadcast where we celebrate you. It is no small feat to make another trip around the sun, as Lola recently had about a week or so ago. And he's over here waving. And many of you, a lot of July babies in the area. So this is the time of the program. This is the part of the program where we salute you by giving you the big shout out for making it another year. But I can't say anything about that until I say, hit it, Lola. Happy birthdays going out to the following individuals. Terrence TK Kelly, happy birthday to you. Happy birthday, Yvette Hodges. Roz Davis celebrating today, as is Elisa McChristian. Samantha Driscoll, happy birthday to you. Billy Bullard celebrating today. Happy birthday, Donna Snipes. Cassandra Lee, happy birthday going out to Deb Dockery. Gwen Ector celebrating her birthday today, and a good friend of mine, a longtime friend of mine, Katina Rankin, celebrating her birthday on this date, as is a former colleague of mine, Veronica Jackson. And ladies and gentlemen, if you just finished listening to Level Lola before my broadcast, she has a birthday. Lola, go ahead. Mike's yours.
Happy birthday, Mr. Lakeith Hopkins. I hope you enjoyed it.
Well, you know, it's always fun to celebrate,
yeah,
right?
Especially when it's cancer season. I mean, I have like rose petals stuck between my toes from people throwing them in my feet all month.
I just don't even know what to say behind that.
You love me, Chip.
I do. So, ladies and gentlemen, congratulations to each and every one of you celebrating a birthday. If you had one over the week, you know, you have one coming up this week. And may your celebration be filled with love and laughter. And we look forward to being with you again next year for your next trip around the sun. Thank you, Lola. So, it was a pretty hectic weekend in terms of the violence in the city. I think last 48 hours we saw 8 people shot, 1 dead. Several people died over the weekend, including a 14-year-old boy, a juvenile, who was shot and killed at an apartment complex on Saturday afternoon. Ashanti Dillard approached 3 teens who were, I guess, gathered by the swimming pool and started getting into a verbal altercation back and forth. She accused one of these individuals of assault. Next thing you know, another person appears with a gun, a semi-automatic, and started firing at the teens, striking and killing the 14-year-old on site, wounding 2 others who appear to be like they're going to be okay. She's charged with aggravated assault and attempted first-degree murder and first-degree murder. The individual who actually pulled the trigger has not been found yet, but the search is on. So again, another very tragic loss of a very young person. So let's see here. There was a story earlier today about a press conference that the U.S. Attorney for the Western District held to talk about something called Glock switches. Glock switches are actually illegal, and what they do is they turn semi-automatic weapons into automatic weapons. Extraordinarily dangerous. And so they kind of put on a demonstration at the range today and basically said, they are illegal, and if anybody is caught doing that, caught with a Glock switch, that's up to 10 years in federal prison. So, again, don't say you have been warned, because you were just warned. The county commission this afternoon was tasked with picking a replacement for former school board member Shalisa Harris. Remember, she resigned a few weeks back. They had a field of 8 individuals that they were going to choose from. And congratulations goes out to Mauricio Calvo. He was named to fill that interim seat. and that will be for at least another year. The election for the school board is in 2024, but Mauricio will start immediately as he was named the interim school board member this afternoon. He's also the CEO of Latino Memphis. Congratulations, Mauricio Calvo. There will be some fine representation among the Hispanic community now that he is a member of that school board. So I look forward to he's a fine man, and he will do an absolutely extraordinary job. So we talked a little bit about the mayoral election. Now, a lot of you still aren't paying a lot of attention to it. There are 14 candidates right now in this race, and I don't know if any thinning is going to happen anytime soon, but it needs to. Right now, of course, there was an informal poll held about last month sometime, and former Mayor Willie Harrington is out front right now. He is the preferred candidate. Then let's see here. We see Van Turner and Sheriff Bonner are the next two in line. I think Harrington had about 13%. The two I just mentioned had about 9%. Paul Young is coming on fast. He's at 8%. And leading the fundraising in terms of the campaign finances, close to $600,000 he has raised so far. And, of course, a lot of folks raising money, a lot of folks trying to, get their name out there, trying to impress you. You have to do something. You have to spend money in order to get people's attention, especially if you're in the lower tier of candidates. So we'll keep a close eye on it and see what happens in terms of that. That's about it for my news and notes on this Monday evening. We are going to take our first time out. Look at that dog. They allowed, we're over here at Crosstown, right? Crosstown Concourse. And, they allow folks to bring their dogs and their pets in. There's some beautiful dogs that woman has walking around over here. Just make sure you keep the plastic bag and the scooper handy. We're going to take our first break when we come back. We're going to get into the show. What do you say? Facebook Live line. Thank you all. Let's see here. Who is watching here tonight? My pastor, Jonathan Jamal Reynolds, is watching. He posted something about a barbecue shop in Paducah, Kentucky, where he used to pastor. And he said yesterday that while Memphis has some very good barbecue, there's nothing like the barbecue he had. I think it's Shanks, I believe that's what it's called, barbecue in Paducah, Kentucky. He said he drove. He had went back there yesterday or Saturday, and when he drove back to town, he said you would find me in front of my house eating a barbecue sandwich at 2:00 in the morning with some Fritos or Cheetos or whatever. So we'll have to check that out. And he also says, all hail to the July birthdays. Let's see. My first guest is watching. I see her right now on the monitor. Also, my brother is watching from Los Angeles, California. What's up, Mike? Jay Worth, GKP. I see you, man. I see you. Audrey Hill is checking us out this evening. So, yeah, thank you all for checking us out. Bring more folks in. More folks, more folks, more folks. Our first break of the night, and we will be back with our first guest on this edition of Real Talk Memphis right after this. Don't go away.
If you like Real Talk, here's a way you can get involved. Do you have a show topic idea or suggestion? Want to be considered a guest or have a guest idea? Then send Chip a message on his Real Talk show page and you can be a part of the Real Talk experience. So as he always says, go out and tell somebody. We'll be right back.
WYXR is supported by Graceland Live, presenting Morrissey on Saturday, October 14th at the Graceland Soundstage. The lead singer of The Smiths will perform songs from his catalog spanning over 4 decades, including songs from his most recent solo album, I Am Not a Dog on a Chain. More information at gracelandlive.com.
WYXR continues studio sessions presented by Memfo with a deep listening of Swider Z's self-titled 1975 LP.
Hear the unheralded sounds of one of Memphis's lesser-known power pop gems with guidance from guest hosts and WYXR personalities Pat Sansone and Janet Wilson.
Meet us at Memphis Listening Lab at 6 p.m. on July 19th to bear witness to it all. RSVP for the free event at stereosessions.wyxr.org.
This stereo session is brought to you by Mempho Presents, Crosstown Brewing Company, Via Productions, Memphis Listening Lab, and End of All Music.
Yes, sir. Yes, sir. There's something new to sip on this spring from WYXR and Crosstown Brewing Company. Nah, I ain't talking about scissor. I'm talking about a beer with big flavor. And every bit of it you put in your mug helps our mission to provide the realest music, talk, events, and more for Memphis music culture and community. It's called Clear Smoke. Yeah, that's what I'm sipping on. What about you?
Crosstown Brewing Company supports WYXR with initiatives and collaborations like Clear Smoke to increase the impact and influence of Memphis creatives across the globe. Find more information about this limited edition brew online at crosstownbeer.com.
Get Real Talk on the TuneIn mobile app under WYXR, and he's now streaming live on Facebook. And you can also catch a rebroadcast on YouTube. Just put WYXR in the search box and hit subscribe. Now back to more Real Talk with Chip Washington.
And welcome back to Real Talk Memphis on this beautiful Monday evening in the city, although the weather folks are saying we could get some rain a bit later on, but we'll deal with that later on. Welcome back to the broadcast. And my first guest tonight is very experienced in what she does. And I know you probably have heard the term, but you don't necessarily know what it means, but she's going to explain it to us. Her name is Shanika Walls, and she is a certified life coach, and she joins me now. And Shanika, it is good to see you, and welcome to Real Talk Memphis.
Yep, it's great to see you as well. Thank you for having me.
No problem at all. So let's get the particulars out of the way first. For folks who don't really know what a life coach is or what a life coach does, give us a definition of what you do.
Okay, so a life coach is someone who helps their clients go from good to better or from better to best. What we do is we focus, there's three pillars to life coaching. It's client-centered, which means we focus primarily on the client's needs, the client's agenda, and the client's goals. It's forward focus, so we help move clients forward. If clients are in a particular stage or state in their lives where they just need extra support, extra help to get from good to better, better to best, then a life coach can come along and actually help them move the agenda, move the needle, and move them closer to their goals. And then lastly, it's action oriented. So we really work with our clients to make sure that they put actionable items in place to help them with whatever goals or issues or concerns or problems they have. And we help to hold them accountable.
Now, you're quick to say that you're not a counselor per se. So there is a difference between what you do as a life coach and what a counselor does. What is the difference there?
Yeah, it's a great question because most people understand life coaching better when they understand what life coaching is not. So life coaching is not counseling. So we don't tell our clients what to do. We don't give advice. Life coaching is not therapy. So we don't diagnose emotional behavioral issues. We don't deal with past trauma and hurts and things of that nature. If we have a client that actually reveals those type of things during our coaching sessions, we can refer them to therapy. We can even refer them to counseling. But we really try to help the client remain focused on forward moving goals and forward moving agendas. So there are a lot of different types of helping professions. You've got mentoring, where people actually give advice based on their own personal experiences. So we are an advocate for mentoring. We're an advocate for therapy. If we find that someone really is struggling with some severe issues, severe depression, anxiety, things that are more traumatic in nature, then we absolutely would refer them to therapy. And even if it's just emotional or relationship problems where they're just seeking to get a problem solved, or counseling might be of benefit, then we would certainly refer to counseling. But if you've got someone who's presenting you with an it, and we all have an it. So when a client brings it to us as a coach, we help them to overcome it and move it forward. And oftentimes a client will bring it to us, and during the course of discovery, powerful questions, the whole insightful experience in partnership, they may find that whatever it is really isn't the problem at all. So we do a lot of self-discovery, a lot of insight to really help our clients move, again, from good to better and from better to best.
So having said that, I know you and I talked offline a little bit, and what interested me most about all of this is we all know that these days mental health is a big issue. It is becoming more spoken, it is becoming more talked about, and so people can get more help. Talk to me a little bit about the mental health component and how you all as life coaches can help a person dealing with that.
Well, the beauty of life coaching is that if you're properly trained and certified in the art of life coaching, you can help with a bevy of issues, whether it's relationship, whether it's spiritual, whether it's financial, whether it's fitness, whether it's mental health. If you learn the basic tools around life coaching and the basic principles, you can basically coach a client on anything. What I found is, particularly with mental health coaching, which I've done as well, is that if we help to get in front of a lot of issues through coaching, because coaching for me is like the precursor to a lot of the other helping professions. If we can get in front of it with coaching, where we can identify that there are some issues bubbling or brewing, and we can help you overcome high-level stress, or we can help you overcome mild anxiety, or if we can help you overcome mild to moderate depression, we can give you the tools and the tips and the techniques you need to help you deal with the issues and really coach you and not necessarily the problem. So we're giving you the tools that you need to help you with your it. If we can do that, even from a mental health standpoint, we can get in front of a lot of the brewing and blossoming issues that later developed into a severe condition where we see play out in the media and play out in the news. So a lot of times, if we can get in front of it early and identify it through coaching, then we can help solve a whole lot of mental health issues.
I think what I'm getting from you in this conversation, and you can tell me if I'm wrong or not, but it seems like your role really is, as a life coach, is to inspire trust from the individual that comes to you and the individual that you deal with. Am I on base with that?
That's absolutely true. That's actually one of the competencies that we teach at Nova Life Coach Academy, which is my life coach training academy, which is also one of the principles of the life coaching profession. We have a governing body called ICF, which governs the coaching profession. And as a credentialed and accredited certified life coach, I adhere to those principles. Mm-hmm. So I have to adhere to the principles of being ethical in my business. I have to adhere to the principle of establishing trust and safety with my clients. I have to adhere to the principles of maintaining the agreements that I have with my client to deliver the type of service that I do. So cultivating trust and safety is a huge component, not just from an ethical standpoint, but having that connection and that relationship with the client where they can be open with you and they can be vulnerable with you. And it allows you to help them and support them in whatever it that they have.
You wrote a book not too long ago. Tell us a little bit about, I think, was it 7 seconds? I can't remember exactly the title of it. But say again?
Yes, it's called 7 Second Life Lessons. I actually have a copy here, okay. 7 Second Life Lessons.
Okay.
And it's an amazing book for several reasons, and not just because I wrote it. It's amazing because it has over 400 practical life lessons for you to go through on a daily basis. It only takes 7 seconds a day. You read your lesson for the day, and then I have a component in there. So it's really 3 books in one. It's a coaching companion because I have the life lessons for every day.
Right.
And then I have a section where I expand on what the lesson means. You've heard of Wi-Fi. I call it the Why My, which is what I mean is. That stands for what I mean is. So I go deeper and explain exactly what I mean by the life lesson. And then there's a journaling component to the book where you can actually journal your thoughts, your reactions, your responses to the lesson, so you make it practical and applicable for you. And that's really what coaching is about. It's about you. Like I said earlier, it's client focused. It's not about me telling you what to do. It's not about me giving you advice. You bring your it to me. We dig deeper into it. We uncover what it is, what's holding it back, what's in the way of it, what's blocking it, and we move it forward. So that's what coaching is really about. So for those who are less than curious about having a coach and maybe want to just explore the ideas and the insight of the coaching profession, the book is an excellent tool. So I would happily recommend it.
Okay, so before I let you get out of here, of course, that sounds like a very fascinating tool. That book that you talked about, that you wrote. If folks are interested in either learning more about you or the academy that you work at, or purchasing your book, if they're interested, give us the information.
Absolutely. The book is available through all major booksellers: Amazon, Books A Million, Barnes and Noble, etc. And it's also available on our website. The Coaching Academy, which I'm the founder of, is Nova Life Coach Academy. And it's novalifecoachacademy.com is the website. You can find information about me, the services, my contact information. If you're interested in becoming a certified life coach, there's a wealth of information on the site about participating in one of the certification programs. There's 2 levels to the program. So there's all that information there on the site. And if you're just curious about the coaching profession and want to talk more about it, I'd be happy to talk with anyone through that process. So just go to the website. All my contact information's there, but Amazon.com, or you can actually purchase the book through the website on novalifecoachacademy.com.
It's very interesting what you do. Fascinating, in fact, and there's a lot of people I'm sure who could probably utilize your services. Listen, I want to thank you for coming on the show tonight. It was really good talking to you and learning about the aspects of what you do versus what other folks do, in terms of counseling and a lot of other. And you're just trying to find the it, like you said before, which is you got to start from somewhere. And I would imagine that's the place to start. Shanika Walls, thank you so much for coming on the show tonight. I really enjoyed the conversation, and you're welcome back anytime.
Yes. Love to be back. Thank you so much, Chip.
Have a great night. Thank you so much.
Yes. Thank you.
That was a very, very good conversation, ladies and gentlemen. Again, if you're interested in finding out more about this, she told you how you can reach her, and Nova Life Coach. That's her company, and that's what she does for a living. And I thought she gave some sound and interesting advice. Great conversation. We're going to take another break, and when we come back, we are going to shift gears, and we're going to talk a little bit about law enforcement and its role in trying to calm down the madness that is happening in our city. This is Real Talk Memphis for a Monday night. I'm Chip. We'll take a quick break, and we'll be right back.
If you like Real Talk, here's a way you can get involved. Do you have a show topic idea or suggestion? Want to be considered a guest or have a guest idea? Then send Chip a message on his Real Talk show page, and you can be a part of the Real Talk experience. So as he always says, go out and tell somebody. We'll be right back.
MIFA's Meals on Wheels program serves more than 700,000 meals to seniors across Memphis and Shelby County each year. MIFA depends on volunteers to deliver many of those meals, and the volunteers may be the only person the seniors see that day. If you would like to be part of MIFA's long tradition of service and to learn more about volunteering, more information can be found at mifa.org/WYXR.
The Sunset Jazz at Court Square concert series is back every second Sunday, May through October, featuring Memphis's top jazz artists at 62 North Main in downtown Memphis. More information and the lineup are available at sunsetjazzmemphis.com.
WYXR is community radio. So why not help us spread our sound through the community? Be a part of our growth by sharing our station and our mobile app with a friend. Visit us at WYXR_Memphis on social and tag your closest pals. Let someone you love know about 91.7 FM. It's easy. Our sound is made just for you, so let's make it louder.
Are you ready to dive into the soulful depths of Memphis's guitar history? Join WYXR and the Memphis Museum of Science and History for The Way They Play, The Deeper Groove on Wednesday, July 20th at 6 p.m. This extraordinary night will feature Memphis guitarists who will share their stories and insights into the guitar's role in shaping the city's iconic sound. The discussion will occur at Mosh and include local guitarists such as Alicia Trout, Steve Selvage, Madam Frankie, and WYXR's own Robbie Graham. More information can be found at moshmemphis.com. The Way They Play, The Deeper Groove is funded in part by a grant from Humanities Tennessee, an independent affiliate of the National Endowment for the Humanities.
Get Real Talk on the TuneIn mobile app under WYXR, and he's now streaming live on Facebook. And you can also catch a rebroadcast on YouTube. Just put WYXR in the search box and hit subscribe. Now back to more Real Talk with Chip Washington.
Welcome back to Real Talk Memphis on this Monday evening. Chip with you. Look, there is no secret about the fact that many of us in our city and our county are very concerned about the escalation of violence that we see in our streets each and every day. Recently, there was a meeting of the minds, so to speak. The U.S. Marshal Service, the head of the Marshal Service, was here from Washington, D.C. to meet with Mayor Strickland, Chief Davis, and several other law enforcement leaders to discuss ways that the Marshal Service can even be more of a help than they are right now. And to that end, I wanted to have someone on the show to talk a little bit about this. He is the U.S. Marshal for the Western District of Tennessee. His name is Tryeece Miller. And Marshal Tryeece, Marshal Miller, I'm glad to have you on the show. Thanks for coming on Real Talk. I appreciate it.
Absolutely. I appreciate this opportunity, appreciate this forum to share with your listeners what the Marshal Service is doing to serve the Memphis community. Absolutely.
So I guess let's start at the beginning. How long have you been here as the U.S. Marshal in the Western District?
I have 26 years of law enforcement experience. I used to work for the Jackson Police Department in Jackson, Tennessee. Worked my way up from a patrol officer all the way up to Deputy Chief of Police. And in July of 2020, I was appointed U.S. Marshal. So I've been here just over 3 years in Memphis.
Okay, so and having said that, and for folks who really don't know or understand the role of the Marshal Service, first, you are a federal, you fall under the federal banner. But if you had to describe the duties of the Marshal Service, how would you describe it?
I think I would describe it, so to make it on the easiest terms to understand, we are equivalent to the sheriff for the federal government. So we not only do we arrest fugitives, but any federal agency, whether it be FBI, DEA, ATF, Secret Service, Homeland Security, if they make an arrest, they bring them to the federal building and we process federal detainees. So when I say process them, we book them in, we photograph them, we fingerprint them, we house them in a federal detention facility, and we bring them to court anytime they have a court proceeding. That is that's something we've done since we've been created in 1789, when George Washington appointed the first 13 U.S. Marshals over the original 13 states. Since that time, we've been the enforcement arm of the federal courts. So that's probably the thing that we're most known for.
What, of course, as I alluded to at the top here, the violence in our city is escalating at a pretty good rate.
Sure.
And of course, you all had a meeting with some of the local leaders here in town, the mayor and the police chief and a lot of others. Your boss was here from D.C. What was as much as you can discuss it.
Sure.
What was discussed in that meeting, and more importantly, how can you, as the U.S. Marshals, maybe increase your presence or help in what we're dealing with, which seems to be a bit challenging at this point in time?
Yeah, I'm happy to answer that. So throughout our history, we've had many different missions, and one of the things that we're really good at is we're finding fugitives. If you think back to the old Wild West days when somebody headed west, the marshals will go after them because we're not confined by state boundaries.
Mm-hmm.
So we don't have we're not limited by local jurisdictions. We can cross state lines. And so we're really good at finding fugitives. And that was kind of formalized with the Presidential Threat Act of 2000. And what that gave us the ability to do is to adopt state warrants. And so we are federal law enforcement officers. We enforce federal laws, but we also are able to assist our local partners with arresting people wanted on state warrants. So we don't have to have permission to, we will adopt the case. First, we have to be invited or ask for our assistance. We will adopt a state case, a state warrant.
Mm-hmm.
So a lot of times we go after murderers, robbery suspects, carjackings, things like that. And we've been doing this for a while. Since 2000, we've arrested over 3,100 people in this who were wanted for crimes in the city of Memphis. 500 of those were wanted for homicides.
Oh wow!
We've recovered over 400 guns.
Mm-hmm.
So we've been doing this for a while. And when the director came, he came because Memphis is, as you mentioned, Memphis is at a crossroads.
Yeah.
It's been identified based on crime data. Memphis was identified as one of the most violent cities in the United States. And so we are targeting not necessarily particular areas, but we were targeting particular individuals in those cities who are prone to violence. So we're going after your trigger pullers, we're going after your shot callers, we're going after the people wanted for homicides, robberies, rapes, things like that. And so the director came in town just to have a roundtable discussion with community leaders, Memphis Police Chief Davis, somebody from the Sheriff's Department was represented, and we want to not only tell you that we're here to help, but also listen to see get a pulse for the city, see what the city wants, see what the city needs, and see how we can partner.
Does that also mean an increased presence from your particular end of law enforcement?
Yes, it does. So what you'll see is the average citizen may not see them, but I can guarantee you suspects who are wanted will see us. Mm-hmm. They'll feel us. Mm-hmm. We will be out there doing an operation. That operation kicked off today. Just today, we arrested, at last check, we'd arrested 17 individuals wanted for violent crimes. And I'm talking about the most heinous crimes. I'm not talking about your misdemeanors or anything like that. Mm-hmm. So we're going to be doing we're doing a target operation in the city of Memphis. And we're going to be out there with increased numbers. We have deputy marshals who are not necessarily assigned to Memphis. We're bringing in extra resources to kind of support what we're already doing here.
Yeah, this seems like obviously we're in a situation where it's all hands on deck now, and we're dealing with so much, and on a daily basis, and folks are scared. You've been here for some years, and you understand that you're part of the fabric of this community now, and folks are scared, and they're frustrated, and they just don't know what to do. So this insertion, and of course, we don't hear a lot about what you do in the Marshal Service, because what you do is, as you say, targeted and specific to a certain type of individual. I was talking earlier about there was a press conference held today by the U.S. Attorney in the Western District about these Glock switches. and how very, very dangerous they are. But again, it turns basically a semi-automatic weapon into an automatic weapon. And I'm sure that that's probably one of the things that the Marshal Service are probably targeting as well, I would imagine.
Yes, sir. So I was there today when they did the press conference. I was able to shoot one of the Glock switches just to see for myself what it feels like. But we are absolutely arresting individuals who are, they have warrants for, whatever the case may be, but they are armed with, a lot of times they're armed, as I mentioned earlier. Over the last 3 years, we've recovered 400 weapons off the streets of Memphis.
Yeah.
And we are recovering individuals with Glock switches, which is extremely dangerous because it basically makes a handgun that's a semi-automatic that you basically have to pull the trigger. Like you pull the trigger every time you want to shoot, hold the trigger down, and it shoots in it shoots in a burst. So you'll have 10, 15 rounds coming out at one time, and it'll shoot until the magazine is empty. These are extremely dangerous, and a lot of times these guns fall into the hands of juveniles, and so it's dangerous for our team because we're encountering these individuals that are armed with these types of killing machines, is what I call them.
Yeah.
Because these aren't used for target practice; they're used to kill, and so that's always in the front of our minds.
I'm going to ask a question, and I don't know whether you have the answer to it or not, but it is a question that nags at me every single day. Where are the guns coming from? I mean, literally, we got 12, 13-year-olds running around out here with AK-47s and just handguns of all kinds. Where are these weapons coming from, and why is the accessibility so easy, it seems?
Well, unfortunately, we see a lot of car thefts, and we see a lot of car burglaries.
Yeah.
Most of the time when they break into cars, they're looking for either money or guns. And also, unfortunately, a lot of individuals feel like they can keep their weapons in their cars. Your car is not a safe place to keep. It's not a proper place to store a weapon. Mm-hmm. So a lot of times when you have these car break-ins, that's what they're looking for, and that's a lot of times that's how they find them. They find them by stealing them.
Well, we have seen a very, very big increase in these carjackings each and every day. Carjackings and a lot of people, even though there's been warning after warning, don't leave these weapons, unattached in your vehicle because that's when they break in. That's what they're looking at. But I'm thank you for answering the question because it just makes you wonder. I mean, every single day, every day, multiple times a day, there are gun crimes committed in this city. But it's interesting to note that you all don't necessarily talk a lot about what you do. You just have your agenda. You just have your targets laid out, and you go specifically for the people that you are tasked on going at in terms of the federal side of things. And people need to understand too that a federal case isn't like a local case. I mean, if you get arrested and charged in a federal case, you're going to do some substantial time, which is another issue around here that seems to be a problem as well.
Yeah, that is correct. There's no parole in the federal system. And whenever an individual comes into federal custody, they are in the custody of the U.S. Marshals until they're sentenced. Once they're sentenced, they go into the custody of the BOP, or Bureau of Prisons. But yes, sir, you are correct. We are the custodian of federal prisoners. And, so we are, that's why I say we're similar to the sheriff, because we are responsible for that person. We're responsible for their housing, their meals, their medical, that falls on us. Mm-hmm. And we also, one of the things we do is judicial security. We protect federal judges. Another thing we do is we do asset forfeiture, and we do witness security. So a lot of people don't fully grasp what we do. I think we're probably most well known for the fugitive chasing. And I'll share this with you. Just last year, there were 289 murders in the city of Memphis. Mm-hmm. We arrested 68 of those individuals. I mean, 68 people that we either arrested them in Memphis or they arrested them elsewhere. Some of those notable cases that I think of is back on September 2nd of last year, the young lady who was jogging, Eliza Fletcher,
yes,
who went missing,
yes,
jogging outside the University of Memphis. Well, the U.S. Marshal Service, we arrested Cleotha Abston the next day in Memphis. Mm-hmm. Another case, just 4 days after we arrested Cleotha Apston, you had Ezekiel Kelly, the
driving
individual
through the streets. We're shooting at
correct. Yeah, he shot and killed one man at about 1 o'clock in the morning, and then the thing later on that day he shot and killed 2 other people. We arrested him. Another case, a little bit further back in the past, is Mr. Adolph Thornton, also known as Young Dolph.
Young Dolph, yeah. Mm-hmm.
Young Dolph was killed November 17th of 2021. Well, in January 12th, so about 3 or 4 months later, the U.S. Marshal Service arrested Justin Johnson in Indiana. So we are making a serious impact in Memphis. Sometimes we're not always seen, we're not always heard, but I just want people to know that we're out there. We're with you. We live in this community as well. This is our home, we feel the pain. When the community hurts, we hurt, and we the only way we know how to address it is just by doing what we do best.
Well, listen, I got to run, but thank you so much for what you do and for what all of you all do on a daily basis. And really, I really appreciate you coming on and sort of kind of lifting the curtain, if you will, on what the Marshal Service does and the important role that you play. U.S. Marshal for the Western District, Tryeece Miller, Marshal Miller, thank you so much for coming on the show. I really appreciate it. Thank you so much.
Thank you for having me. Have a great day.
You too. Thank you so much. Well, that was a very enlightening conversation. Absolutely that. And, it's nice to know that, all is not lost. And whether we see things happening or not, things are happening. We're going to take our final break of the broadcast, and when we come back, we're going to shift gears and talk a little entertainment on this edition of Real Talk Memphis. I'm Chip. We'll take a quick one, and we'll be right back.
If you like Real Talk, here's a way you can get involved. Do you have a show topic idea or suggestion? Want to be considered a guest or have a guest idea? Then send Chip a message on his Real Talk show page and you can be a part of the Real Talk experience. So as he always says, go out and tell somebody. We'll be right back.
WYXR doesn't go to sleep at night. We keep the music moving. Memphis music, that is. When our DJs clock out, our automation clocks in with music right from our community. Produced, performed, and written by Memphians, or in Memphis. Some are hits, and some are rarely heard, but they all tell the story of one of the world's greatest music cities. Visit WYXR.org for playlist and scheduling information. Email submissions@WYXR.org to let us hear your Memphis music. We may just play it.
Get Real Talk on the TuneIn mobile app under WYXR, and he's now streaming live on Facebook. And you can also catch a rebroadcast on YouTube. Just put WYXR in the search box and hit subscribe. Now back to more Real Talk with Chip Washington.
And welcome back to Real Talk Memphis on this Monday evening. Chip here with you. And of course, to get away from talking about and thinking about the madness, we turn to other forms, and entertainment is a big part of that. And of course, Orpheum Theater is a crown jewel in our city and brings some of the best theater entertainment anywhere in this country. And we're going to talk a little bit about that right now with Brett Batterson. He is the president and CEO of the Orpheum Theater Group. And Brett, it's great to see you. Thanks for coming on the show.
Well, thanks for having me on the show, and thanks for all those nice words you just said.
Man, look, I love the Orpheum, and I love a lot of the productions that you all bring to the city, as do thousands of other folks. And of course, you have a season coming up now, and you have a pretty good lineup of entertainment for a lot of folks to see. Kind of give us a little bit of a rundown of what we can expect this season.
Yeah, well, we just announced our Broadway season in the spring, and season tickets are selling briskly. Still for sale, but it kicks off in October with Funny Girl, the revival of the classic musical that made Barbra Streisand a star. Mm-hmm. That's followed up on Halloween night, opening on Halloween night, Beetlejuice, which is a musical retelling of the movie.
Yeah.
Quite accurate, quite a bit of fun. It's just terrific.
Yeah.
And then we follow that up with Six, which is the most requested show I had all of last year. Everybody kept coming up to me, when's Six coming to Memphis? Well, it's coming. And that is the story of the 6 wives of Henry VIII. And they spend the show basically arguing about who had the worst marriage, Henry VIII, the ones who got divorced, beheaded, or actually survived the whole ordeal.
Okay, then. All right.
I know. A great story about girl power. It's a lot of pop music type music.
Okay.
A lot of great lights and costumes and dancing. Just a great show.
Cool.
Then after the holidays, we've got Company, the Stephen Sondheim classic, followed by Les Miserables, which, as you know, is a classic as well. And everybody knows what that show is.
Yes, yes.
Then in the middle of that, we're bringing Mrs. Doubtfire, the stage version of the movie again. And it's the story that we all know and love about the man who wants to be with his children so badly that he goes to extreme measures to spend time with his kids.
Mm-hmm.
Then we have Wicked returning.
Wicked. That's the like you don't have to talk about Wicked. Everybody kind of knows about that show, don't they?
Everybody knows Wicked. It's been a big hit for a long time.
Yeah.
And we're always happy to bring it back to Memphis. Then we close out the season with Mamma Mia, another classic.
Mamma
the
Mia.
ABBA musical.
Yes, sir.
The musical that started the jukebox musical craze.
Yeah.
So it's a great Broadway lineup coming up, and we're really excited to bring them all to Memphis.
It really is. And, you bring tremendous entertainment here each and every year. I know there's a lot of logistics that go into, bringing certain shows at certain times of the year that you have to sort of juggle. It's challenging. It can be pretty challenging, I would imagine, sometimes. Am I correct?
Well, you are, and it takes a lot of my time. A lot of my time is on the phone to agents in New York going, this show should follow this show should come on this date. The fact that I got Beetlejuice to open on Halloween, I think that's a coup.
That is a coup. That's a big deal there. That's a big deal.
That's a big deal.
Yeah.
It's kind of like the first time we brought Hamilton and we got it to be over the 4th of July holiday. I mean, how can you beat that?
Yeah.
So, it is a challenge, but a lot depends on what the schedule is for the tour and when it's convenient for the company to get here from another city. So there's a lot of pieces that have to fall into place to make it work.
You mentioned Hamilton. I have to tell you, that's one of the best shows. I don't go to a lot of plays, but that's one of the best shows I've ever seen, ever. I mean, Hamilton was just, it was really, really good. It really was.
Yeah, I can't disagree with you. I think it's a terrific piece of theater, genius writing and storytelling, and just a great cast. I mean, everything about it is just great.
So, recently, I think it was a few days ago, last week, you all sort of debuted, you have the Walk of Fame out there in front of the Orpheum Theater, all the performers and actors and folks, and, people can see their names and their stars. But you recently did a Walk of Fame in front of the Halloran Center. Tell me what the thinking was behind that.
Yeah, so the Halloran Center's been open 8 years, and we've had probably about 70 artists have played the Halloran Center in those 8 years. And they've all been top-notch, just highest quality artists. So we wanted to salute them in a way that's very similar to what we have in front of the Orpheum. But the stars are a little bit smaller because the Halloran's a little bit more intimate space. But it recognizes all the great people that have played. Mary Wilson, one of the original Supremes, J.D. Souther. I can go on and on. The Bar-Kays, Stax legends, Motown legends. It's just a great little salute to all the wonderful artists who played the Halloran Center.
I remember, I think I read Boo Mitchell and Kurt Whalum, and I mean, there's so many, and it really sort of reminds us of just how tremendously talented performers are in this city. So many of them, have really cut their teeth in Memphis, and it really does bring to fore, really in terms of the perspective. There's a lot of talent in our city, and it translates all over the world, doesn't it?
It does, and we have tried to make the Halloran Center a showcase for that talent. And like you say, the number of artists that we included in these stars from Memphis, still living in Memphis, still making it their home, still making music in Memphis, it's just fantastic. And Boo Mitchell, Gary Goins is among the list.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, Van Duren. It just goes on, the talent in this city.
Well, you know, you've been here for a few years now, and I think I'm going to leave you with just a simple question. You know, I know you love what you do, and you do what you love, but what makes the Orpheum Theater such a special place, in your opinion?
Well, I appreciate you asking that, because I really do believe it's special to most Memphians. And I think that if you ask most Memphians, they have a specific memory about going to the Orpheum and experiencing either live theater or a concert that they really loved, or some special event. And I think it's the memories, I think it's the history, and I think it's the fact that we're still bringing great entertainment. We're not resting on the laurels of the past. And I think Memphians treat us very well, and we hope we can treat our city the same way in return.
Listen, man, we appreciate you. We appreciate the Orpheum. We appreciate all the shows, the fine entertainment that you bring us. Thank you for coming on the show tonight and kind of giving us a rundown of this season. I'm sure it will be another very successful season for you and all of the Orpheum staff and folks you have out there. Thanks, Brett, for coming on. I really appreciate it. Thank you so much.
Oh, thank you for having me on, Chip. I appreciate that.
Yes, sir. Thank you. All right, ladies and gentlemen, that wraps up another wonderful edition of Real Talk Memphis. And I'm always appreciative of the guests that come on the show that are willing to come on and talk for a few minutes. But more importantly, I'm really appreciative of folks who are watching us, checking us out. I see Kenneth Poole, Catherine Logan. This is on the Facebook Live. Trina Harris, Marquita Jones-Williams, my friend. She's watching tonight as well. And I see Bishop Bob Midget is on the line. Of course, I mentioned a few other folks earlier this evening. It really is Johnny Curran. I see you, man. Listen, it really is a pleasure to come in here and do this show each and every week. And, we want to continue to grow this show. Each and every week, we want to grow this show, and I need your help to be able to do that. If you like what you see, if you like what you hear, please tell folks to check out Real Talk Memphis each and every Monday. We work hard to try to bring you the best guest that we can in order to provide entertainment, provide information, and everything else that goes along with it. And as Lola plays us out, once again, I humbly thank you. We've been doing this now here for almost 3 years at this particular station, and it has really been a great ride. But again, everything I do is predicated on the support that you all bring to this broadcast each and every week, and I thank you sincerely for that. So as we prepare to get out of here, for Bryn, for Lola, for Nicole, I'm Chip, and I want you to be safe, be careful out there. Keep your head on a swivel. Pay attention to what is happening in our city, because it affects each and every one of us. And until next time, we are out. Take care.
It's real